African economies have been growing rapidly in the past decade, but too many African people are still living below the poverty line. Our continent's impressive growth has not benefited enough people. Inequality is rising. In May, the Africa Progress Panel launched its annual Africa Progress Report. Former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan chairs the 10-member panel, and he called on Africa's leaders to invest in agriculture and fisheries, two sectors that directly involve two-thirds of all Africans, so boosting them would reduce poverty and inequality on the continent.
These sectors are still woefully underperforming, underfinanced, and has very little interest for most governments. Low productivity, chronic underinvestment, and regional protectionism means that Africa must import too much of its food, as much as $35 billion in 2011. This report is not...
The Africa Progress Panel advocates for more equitable and sustainable policies for Africa and Africans. The panel releases a report every year which analyzes key policy issues and recommends policies and actions for African governments and the global community. This year's report is called Grain, Fish, Money, Financing Africa's Green and Blue Revolutions. Mr. Annan was joined at the launch by fellow panel members Peter Eigen, founder of Transparency International, Tidjane Thiam, CEO of British insurance company Prudential, Bob Geldof, musician and activist, and Caroline Kende-Robb, the panel's executive director. As well as calling for more investment in agriculture, the report demands an end to the plunder of Africa's timber and fisheries, which costs the continent tens of billions of dollars each year. Globally, the illegal timber trade is worth $100 billion a year. And in 2011, Africa lost $17 billion from illegal timber exports. In the fisheries sector, West Africa alone is losing $1.3 billion to illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing every year, and that's a conservative estimate.
In Africa's coastal waters, illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing has reached epidemic proportions. This plunder destroys entire coastal communities when they lose the opportunities to catch, process and trade. Commercial trawlers that operate under flags of convenience and unload in ports that do not record their catch are engaging in organized theft disguised as commerce.
The United Nations estimates that global demand for food will double by 2050. This will put more strain on global fisheries, but it could be a huge business opportunity for farmers in Africa. This continent has the potential to feed not just itself, but other regions too. Africa could earn tens of billions of dollars a year by supplying local and global markets. Boosting Africa's agriculture requires better infrastructure and better access to financial services such as loans and insurance for farmers, especially smallholders.
When Africa's leaders decide to invest time, effort and money, then they will see quick growth in the agricultural sectors. With the launch of this year's Africa Progress Report, we are calling on African governments to roll out a uniquely African green revolution.
In countries where governments are already promoting agriculture, the sector has shown solid growth, providing jobs and opportunities for millions. The Africa Progress Report estimates that, with the right policies, Africa's farmers could double their productivity within 5 years, providing more jobs and opportunities from Africa's extraordinary wealth.